Great evening, Nigerians. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Updates with Precious. Another beautiful day to talk about things for the shell for inside Nigeria because news plenty well as we talk like this. A lot of things that happen for inside Nigeria. You know, APC said that they go through their caucus meeting right now. Confusion happened for House of Rep, Senate. As Senate approved different, Senate and House of Rep approved different benchmark for oil. You see that kind of confusion. Well, all those matter then, but make a go run on through the headlines. They must see the hot well this evening. Now, somebody get mind tell our president. I don't know why this people don't have respect. That even to collect tax, he forged documents. Henry Shield knocked Tinubu over National Assembly tax bill alterations. Whoa. And then let's go on. Tinubu took Nigeria's expenditure, debt servicing, to 34 trillion naira. 12 trillion in 2 years. Aja, now they talk that one. Why is Wale Edo still minister? Senator Ume fury over 30 trillion naira revenue shortfall and 70% budget rollover. Now, wow. Bola Ahmed Tinubu remains a failure. Sadiq Maunde knocks Tinubu over controversial tax bill. That one never finish. We must remove the government, else we will perish. Else Nigerians will perish. Ibrahim Abdukarim declared amid report of discrepancies in gazetted law. In fact, if there other group of people will even talk about this one, some people talk say, this one will get to do with this mistake we then get or will they happen. Say this tax reform alteration. As a matter of fact, they say the tax reform law say altering legislations through official gazette illegal. And so lawyers don't even complain concerning that one. And a part of it in this we'll talk about today. And then we'll move on to other matter then. Over 37 worshippers, including children, now they don't kidnap for inside Kogi church attack. And they demand 600 million naira as ransom. Just again, when would they think say all these things and don't end? More still they happen for inside Nigeria. Headers Union, Miyetti Allah, denies links to arrested, neutralized, suspected bandits in Kwara and Kogi. Remember, so we say they catch some bandits yesterday for Kwara and Kogi State. And then talk say they hold Miyetti Allah ID card. But Miyetti Allah don't deny them. Miyetti Allah vigilantes parade suspected kidnappers in Kogi, defend arrested members, called bandits in Edo. And then Yoruba Union lambasts Tinubu National Security Advisor, Ribadu, over rifles handed to Miyetti Allah members amid alarming attacks in Kwara and Kogi State. All right, Boko Haram terrorists abduct newly elected Bill vice chairman, councillors, passengers on Borno Yobe Highway. Whoops. And the report calls for Nigerian government attention after discovery of killer herdsmen camps in Enugu community. They say he did the killer herdsmen camp with the Enugu community right now. They don't call, say, make everybody come more, Nigerian government come and see you, waiting with the CEO, waiting with this camp, who will they see right now for inside Enugu, they're gonna come help us see. 2 persons kidnapped by suspected gunmen in Benue State. Gunmen abduct local government vice chairman, 2 councillors in Borno State. I think that story is over there. Northern Christian youths give Tinubu reasons to sack Matewale immediately. It says sack Matewale immediately because of these reasons. Now, police, U.S. Secret Service, FBI arrest suspects in Nigeria over fraud. Nigerian government reopens 47 unity schools across Nigeria. Senate confirms 64 non-career ambassadorial appointees or appointments. Governor Fintiri fuels more speculation over likely defection to APC. Hey, 2027, I have strong structure to support Tinubu. Governor Fubara declares so. And then Babatunde Badamusi criticizes Tinubu's government over alleged ties to radical Islamic jihadist leader. IGP orders quiet dismobilization of Tinubu's presidential escort unit, redeploys officers to state command. Tinubu to present 2026 Nigerian budgets to National Assembly Friday, proposes 17.8 trillion fresh borrowings. And that's not all. Yoruba Union lambasts Tinubu NSA Ribadu over rifles handed over to, I think I already took this conversation. And then let's move on as Bishop Hassan Kuka visits Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto prison. ADC coalition implodes as faction suspends ex-chairman Ramfosu, 14 others, declares congresses illegal. All the matter them too hot. Well, this and more on IBC we get for inside our table this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. And joining us inside the studio now, Oga Katch Ononuju. Oga Katch, good evening and thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a good one to be with your guests. I believe it's a good thing for everybody to feel good about the Christmas. I wish them the best of the season.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Always a pleasure to have you. I just say make a report something to you because the things really happen for this country. I know like Dr. Cash, somebody get mind they insult our president. I say make a report to you sharp before we enter inside other conversation. He didn't want to go when he named Henry Shield. He talked to our president the way I know like, and I'm waiting make I say make a report and give you because this kind of thing where they talk about our president, you know good now. E get mind they tell our president say even this thing in forge e dey good make I even go take that to make e see as e take be. So Nigerian political commentator Henry Shield don't accuse President Bola Tinubu of forgery for in the context of tax collection following recent controversies in the National Assembly over alleged alterations in the gazetted tax reform bill. Now, his remarks have reignited public debate about the integrity and scrutiny or accountability of our government. And this kind of when people come, they say, a good thing will be saying good future. Man, not taking in post. You know, call name, you just say, here. You just post that. You say, here. Even to collect tax, he still forget, he still forge documents. Haba. That's why you just post that. Why person will post that kind of thing? Sir, it ain't good. Should we not have some respect?
Well, you also have to understand a lot of people are frustrated at the way we have had bad governance, 15, and right now with the escalation of the bad governance through the killings, which seem not to be going. You would say yes. Since the US intervention, a lot of people are finding their voices. And I don't know if there's a panic. We now see the government making far more mistakes, and people who were not very vocal before are now beginning to say things. Henry Shield is a friend of mine. I know him. I think he's angry at the state of things. And I will think he just venting out his anger. Since the legislature pointed out that the gazetted version of the tax law is different from the one the legislature saw that was printed, adopted at the National Assembly. That revelation has brought a lot of anger, especially if you add that to the recent knowledge that we're having to invite a French organization into our tax administrations. It's like, farming out your internal revenue service to a foreign body, because that's where the financial dealings of the country can be seen. And I think that is very, very fraudulent. That's good. That's not anything good. It's fraudulent because one, it's against national security. So you can now see issues around the tax bill and now beginning to come forward. Since the legislature, most commentators are now focusing on Tinubu's tax acrobatics. So he is trying to bring in French people to come and become our new tax administrators. So the tax legislation and the way it has been printed into law, the discrepancies between the original approved legislative version and what is now seen to have been the final printed copy by the government office. So that's raising a lot of tax conversation-driven anger. So I will put Henry Shield's anger within that vicinity. There is a lot of anger across Nigeria in Tinubu's handling of these tax issues. What Henry is trying to tell you is that he's angry at the insincerity from the side of the government in handling this conversation around taxation, both in the contracting of the tax administration protocols to a French company, and even what the law was approved is, and then the discrepancy in what they have now seen as the final government printed copy, which the legislature who saw this said does not tally with what was at the National Assembly. So I put that generally as a part of the anger that we will still see. You're just beginning to see the beginning of it. As the French company story broke, so as the legislature's revelation come to it. So we're going to have a holistic, attention given to everything around Tinubu's tax ideas. And I think that's how we should say it. You're going to see more anger from Nigerians about Tinubu's tax moves. People will speak up more as they come to understand how dangerous it's been for him to contract away the administration of tax to French company, and the fact that the government is not sincere in what it prints vis-a-vis what was passed at the National Assembly.
This one don't raise a lot of controversy. And one thing we people they talk about now, how come it take one senator to see the thing? In fact, the other senators, they know, House of Rep member. The other House of Rep members don't even do like say they actually note what they talk about. Like what he's saying even does exist. They don't even show concern when they make that observation, like what he's saying is even something that actually does exist. And people are like, wait, is this how these people have been representing us? How come it took this much time for us to begin to see loopholes? Just a few weeks to the implementation or a few days to the implementation, because the implementation is start 1st January. And this bill, they don't pass some since. And it wasn't just gazetted today. So how come it take this long? Is it that the National Assembly, when they make their rules, they need to take their time, do their due diligence? This is the part of questions people they ask, because people are just wondering how it's, this our lawmakers go feel just they a bit nonchalant towards things like this, and they need to pay attention. And especially now when most of them they're the same party, people they think say go even they worse. A situation where a lot of people not go even send anymore, because if you watch the video when Senator Dasuki was complaining about it, others were they're not looking concerned. They don't look like say now we can concern them. Make I quickly play that video. Make it
I will call on Mr. Speaker to graciously look at what was harmonized what is in the gazetted copy, what was passed in the House and the Senate, you will find out what is before Nigerians, which is being sold to Nigerians at the Ministry of Information, which I personally went to buy the gazetted copies, are not what was passed. So there's no motion here, but Mr. Speaker, I'll be pleading that all the documents should be brought before the Committee of the Whole. The whole members should see what is in the gazetted, should see what they passed on the floor, so that we can make the relevant amendments. Mr. Speaker, this is a breach of the Constitution, this is a breach of our laws, and this should not be taken by this Honourable House.
All right, so that now waiting Honorable Dasuki talk. I mean, in summary of waiting Honorable Dasuki talk. But if you watch the other members, then they were just looking like they're indifferent about waiting they happen. Like say they're no send. Now, this is not the first time. I mean, there was something a guest that I had yesterday said. Excuse me, and I think it's proper that I paid. I think I should repeat that again, because here is what Dr. Majid
I will call on Mr. Speaker.
Because, of course, our president was governor of Lagos, and we know how.
Breach of the Constitution, this is a breach of our laws, and this should not be taken by this Honourable House.
I'm not surprised, though. I'm not surprised. Because, of course, our president was governor of Lagos, and we know how now tax now be their major preoccupation for Lagos. We saw it.
So the tax master.
I know everybody knows Tinubu for that one now. And I'm calling on the media and the public in general. All of us must tweet for them to find out truth. We compare. Waiting the gazetted and waiting this paper to because some of the provisions of the tax law when they propose for next year, it shows that Nigerian lawmakers see this thing like this person. Because what I think they're trying to do is to impose on Nigerians a strange tax regime, like a copy and paste tax regime from the first world in a third world country like Nigeria. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it wants to work.
Well, you know, they give us the resources where the other people they give them their people.
Actually, I don't understand how they want to work. So I've been supposed to say this thing. So when this man raises this issue, I said, talk to myself, I think I'm like this. And this so-called relationship with France over tax, I don't understand exactly what's the intention. We have most countries are trying to break free from France. We now they carry ourselves go submit to France. Don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against France, but I still feel something is not wrong. Something is not right.
Okay, so you see he's worried. So you feel like say something not get right at all. Do you believe that? Do you agree with him? Say that they try impose a tax regime of a first world country like France to Nigerians? You think Nigeria is matured for the kind of taxation we say they want taxes from January? Because you don't reach the mot already.
Well, it's not possible to compare Nigeria to France. France has its development reasons why it taxes its citizens the way it does. It is wrong. It's the tax protocols of France in Nigeria. It is also because no two countries are the same. Secondly, you cannot tax yourself to prosperity. It is wrong to increase taxes in a struggling nation like this, ravaged by government policy-induced difficulties currently. And I do not think this is the right way to go. I still believe that Tinubu has very wrong options. You're going to turn Nigeria into some very poor Francophone-like country. If the French have tried their strategy in places like Benin, Togo, and all those countries ended up impoverished, becoming just mere colonial subjects to be taxed, and then they don't care about the growth of both the individuals and also the economy in general. Because that's what France was doing. And that's why everybody was very happy to have them kicked out. So trying to replicate the French model in Nigeria is wrong and is just not sustainable. It is not sustainable.
So you know go work at all. But then going back to this message, we be say Henry Shields drop, they make everybody vex. On the other hand, some people they talk say, oh, he was not referring to our president too. But looking at the context of the message, even to collect tax is still forged document. Haba, who do you think he was talking to? I just ask you.
I think the administration is known to not be very honest administration.
Ew.
So he simply, you can see the administration tried to cover the genocide. You also saw when last week the congressional delegation on fact-finding came to Nigeria. The minute they visited Benue State, the Nigerian people, government just got weak and stopped all attempts at denial, because the Americans were shocked to discover a human concentration camp where the government was very happy.
The only one they go, they never reach Southern Kaduna, they never reach Plateau.
No,
And
they don't need to go these places.
okay, sir.
What you need to do, if there are 3 places, go to one and find enough evidence. You go there and you see 600,000 citizens, and the government is very, very happy to have them concentrated that much in one place. Yet, the jihadists who ethnically cleanse them of their ancestral lands are living now on those villages and homelands, and the government seems very, very comfortable with that, and that's why they're doing nothing. So you don't need to go to any further place. What you've seen is just enough. No government collects its citizens in a concentration camp while allowing cleanse those citizens of the and villages to continue to occupy those places from where the indigenous community people were cleansed from. So what that means is, yes, the ethnic cleansing program is real, and the government seems very comfortable with it. That's why it has decided to concentrate all those internally displaced persons in massive concentration camps. You don't need to go elsewhere. You already have the evidence you need. In one single concentration camp, they saw up to 600,000 people. There's no need to go elsewhere. That simply tells you that you now have far more evidence that you can see as one single visitation than you thought you knew in the United States. So they were just simply shocked, and that's why they went back home. I'm saying this because any government who could be involved in such things, and then when it is queried, it's now tried to hire agents who will lie to cover it. And the minute the Americans came here and then went to do the field inspection to interrogate the conflicts between the Nigerian government position and the news has been coming out from Christians all over Nigeria and all over northern Nigeria. So that's enough. You don't need to visit more. It is real. So if you hear stories of birds falling off the skies all over a territory, and you just go to one single address of that territory and you see a multitude of birds falling off then you don't need to go anywhere. Simply retreat and then go in on how to condition into a healthy status what you have seen, not looking for more evidences. That single evidence is enough.
I said we dey come back to that matter because that matter plenty we will come back to. But as we don't talk this one now, I would like make we just also touch briefly on wetin happened yesterday. So as at yesterday, Oga Wale do tell us say our wetin they call them, our revenue generation for 2025 they shot by 30 whole trillion naira. It was shocking to us because it was sometime early September that the president told us that we had met our target for the year. And the target to meet them with non-oil revenue. We were excited. Even though some of us come the worry, say, why we go meet targets till they borrow? Then only for Gawale Iduna, they tell us, say, we never meet our targets. Not be just say we never even meet our targets. By 30 trillion naira, that's a lot of money. Because right now, some people are complaining. In fact, somebody like Oga Ume, Senator Ume, they ask, say, why Wale do still be governor, minister? Make I even take that news. Heated argument erupted in the Nigerian Senate, I think a day before yesterday, during an interactive session on the 2026-2028 medium-term expenditure framework and the fiscal strategy paper (FSP), as Senator Victor Ume, Anambra Central, sharply questioned Finance Minister Ogawale Edu over the federal government's massive revenue shortfall and the practical or practice of rolling over budget, to the extent that at some extent over 70% of budgets will never know they accomplished. Now, the confrontation captured, of course, in a viral video that I can't play now, circulating on social media, saw Ume expressing outrage at the government's admission that only about 10%, only about 10 to 107 trillion had been realized from projected 40 trillion. That is 10, the 10.7 trillion has been realized over, as against from the projected 40.8 trillion revenue for 2028 targets. And in the thing shock and well. In fact, this leaves a staggering 30 trillion shortfall, forcing the rollover of approximately 70% of 2025 capital projects into 2026. Remember, at some point for this country, now 3 budgets, now ABC will come for inside this administration, now ABC with the practice. So Oga Ume say, why is Wale Edu still minister? Ume demanded and highlighting frustrations over persistent budget implementation delays, overlapping fiscal cycles, and what he described as a lack of accountability in revenue mobilization. And this one again, it don't happen again. So people come to talk, say, but wait, is it that is the president that lied to us? Or is it Wale Edu that is lying to us and have not met our target? Which one will believe now? Make I let you talk, sir.
And that's why earlier the administration become known for lies. It borrows, and we don't see where the money is put to. It earlier said we've met our revenue targets, and I was asking in an interview I gave to a different television station, I said, why do you still borrow if you have met your revenue targets? Well, the truth is, it's also possible that the money that is made, or is it the revenue target of the agencies who are declaring that they have collected the revenue and they seem to have met their revenue expectations in this case? Or is it the revenue target of the federal government? So we just need to revisit the words and meanings of the words as expressed at the time when we were informed by the government agencies that Nigeria has met its revenue target. And I was wondering, if we have a revenue target, why are you still going on borrowing? And the borrowing you're doing, you're not even putting it to the current budget. You're thinking about the 2024 budget, which has not been done, which I hear what wasn't done will now be brought over to 2026.
Yes, so we carried over, I think, the capital and other some components of the 2024 budget, to carry them over to 2025. And we're about to also carry over another one, 2026. Remember that sometime in 2024, we're operating about 3 budgets. The supplementary budget for 2023, about 3 budgets like that now being the practice, being hold on to. And it's looking like it's becoming a repeated practice. How healthy is this for our economy?
Well, it simply shows you the insincerity of the people running government.
Ew.
And the fact that this goes on and there are no for this, of course it will continue if there are no consequences for bad action. Be that as it may be, there's also a need for us to ask questions about money declared publicly. That's why the former Attorney General has been arrested, because a lot of the monies that were declared under the Buhari administration, they simply developed wings and ran away. And a lot of those monies recovered from wherever we say we recovered them were under the custody of Mr. Malami, who actually also appointed his relation to the EFCC position. So there's a lot. And don't forget, for the 8 years of the Buhari administration, those who were stealing, those who were not performing properly were never interrogated. Buhari allowed them to continue. So that's why money developed wings in the middle of Nigeria's budgetary year. And because they knew that Buhari was never going to interrogate them, so they've come to know him. And this is one of the bad things that we've seen during this period of governance in Nigeria. I believe they probably thought that since in most cases they don't win elections, the state is captured, that they can do what they want. And that was why even some of the monies they got, they invested that in the jihad. That's why you're now seeing that the terrorism was mostly as a consequence of the actions and investments of people in government, including in the East, where they also put some of that money in propping up the covert operations called unknown gunmen, sting operations, all perpetrated by government. That's why you've seen now we're having publishing of people involved in terrorism. And you'll find that all the names listed were all of people in government. So, but they were the people fomenting the terrorism in the East, hiring unknown gunmen, some money being used to pay some Igbos to repeat stories of Igbo guilt to make it all seem as if it's true. But the people financing the terrorism were people in government. In the old list I've seen, terrorism in Nigeria in the 80s or border, I didn't see one single name from the Southeast. They were all names from the North, mostly Fulanese, funding terrorism, paying people. They had, at the last count, about 38 different, proxy Biafran units. And they kind of make an announcement. They will get one of their proxy Biafra now units to go commit some offense. And when you talk, of course, they have uniforms. They will come give you a video, they made. They were skit makers telling you they believe they are Biafra, they done this. But they are actually government-funded people. That's why all the names released of the funders of terrorism in the past 8 years or so were all people in government. And that's why I say a lot of that money was also used to fund the different groups that were proxy Biafran units. And I think the federal government will do this also during the Civil War. At the war, they had some people speaking Igbo who went to certain communities in eastern Nigeria and violated people, started killing people, and then people thought, these Igbos, they're really coming to eat us. They did the same thing in the last episode, as we can now see the list of terrorism funders. So those monies were also spent in the East to fund small Biafra Nano organization. At the last count, there were about 38 that I counted. But you see, they all just disappeared the minute the Buhari administration ended. And the unknown government sting operation also ended because the Tinubu administration was not interested in continuing such covert operations.
All right, sir.
And you can hear.
Okay, go ahead. Let me.
You can hear the current stories from some of the Fulani leaders that they won't want anybody to attack the terrorists.
I was
that they
surprised,
rather have the
though.
terrorists
I was surprised that I
negotiated.
saw that. I think is this Farouk Ahmed or somebody a northern leader that particular statement was credited to. And I'm very shocked to hear that. Say Oga Musa no suppose attack what did they call him? He no suppose attack
The
the terrorists.
terrorists. That the
Because
terrorists
he is
are
no
their
longer
freedom
because he
fighters.
is no longer a uniform person again. I'm still finding it difficult to believe because I'm trying to look for a footage when they talk that thing physically. I no see when you talk. I'm so now waiting make me define. They had me to be.
It is very simple. It is simple. These are the terrorism patrons and sympathizers of this terrorism. They use the terrorism as a strategy to seize the country. And they had to import some of them. And there is a reason for this terrorism. At the beginning of the Buhari administration, crisis between Fulani in northern in Central African Republic, and those Fulanis were driven away and they came upstairs to Benue State. They were looking for land to settle on. Nobody gave them land. When Buhari got sworn in 2015, there was a peace agreement in Mali due to the fight between the Fulanis and the Dogons in central Mali. Instead of Buhari to join with other leaders to ensure the implementation of that 2015 peace agreement, no. Buhari came to Nigeria and was seeking to gain land all across Nigeria where they can resettle the Fulanis. Buhari even was inviting Fulanis from all over Africa to come to Nigeria and he can make it a home. That's such irresponsible act. But when those people came to Nigeria, the problem was land. Nobody could gain land. Nobody land. So Buhari went to National Assembly with some fraudulent schemes seeking for land. He first went to National Assembly with a bill supposedly masked as National Grazing Reserve Bill. It was rejected because it's an issue of land. He came again with a cow's colony. People rejected it because nobody was willing to gain land. Then he now said National Livestock Development Program, under which the federal government will bring money, the states will bring land, because in our current constitutional manual, the governors under the Land Use Act are in charge of land. So, but after the 2019 peace agreement, and there was to form government, before government was formed, Nigerians discovered a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture was issuing out local purchase orders for construction of Ruga. Was when the Vice President Osibanjo, who was in charge as chairman of that presidential committee on implementing the National Livestock Development Program, he resigned. They said this is not what they agreed, and that's how that program died. Then they went on to try what they call consolidation of underground and surface water, plus 6 kilometers of land and backing that water. And that was how Akpabio said no. He gave a filibuster at the Senate when Senate President Bukola Saraki had him. He stepped down the bill. The next Tuesday, they came to arrest Akpabio. That was how he became a member of APC. You either join them so that your sins can be forgiven, or they'll just mess you up. So that they kept on doing that, and then suddenly, when there was no land, the Fulani leaders now decided on using to commit ethnic cleansings by force. And that's how we now got into the band of genocidal ethnic cleansing actions on an industrial scale. And they continue doing that, taking land and then heading the landowners into the concentration camps, which the Americans saw in Benue. And as they were doing that all over the country, nobody cared. You uproot the indigenous landowner who are Nigerians, put them in concentration camp so that you can find land to be able to now resettle the Fulanis you've told to come over all over from wherever to this place without visa. Remember that program, it's all documented. And this is where this problem is. So there was a motive for this action to gain land. Then the strategy that was these violent ethnic cleansings, and the ethnic cleansings now brought about the genocidal ethnic cleansing, which killed Nigerians in multitude numbers. And so that's where they didn't even care about whoever you were. You were a moderate Muslim, you will be ethnically cleansed, or that was how Hausas were being killed in places like Basari, Sapana, Dusima, Damusa, Maru, Anka, Dangobe, even where Hausas were killed in the markets. Then they also moved into Taraba and started fighting in Gembu against the Kaka and the Pansa. I remember one at a time, General Dambazao visited. He wasn't successful after the governor confronted him. When he came back, they sacked him. So these things happened everywhere, and they went into Kaduna State, killing and cleansing, taking over land, and when they asked, the governor said, how can they not want to share land? The land is their own alone. But who are you putting on the land? Why are you killing these Christians? You're killing the Christians to take over their land and there commit a demography alteration to bring Muslim Nigeria. And it continued till Buhari left. It continued under Tinubu until the American intervention. And then the government tried to lie, cover it, hire talking heads to say, no, it's not true. This, that. Muslims, yes. But these were genocidal ethnic cleansing actions. And people were being killed. What for? To gain land, to resettle refugees. And that was why when the Americans visited Benue, they saw people who were ethnically cleansed of their land now concentrated in camps while the government was comfortable as the new jihadi conquerors were now living on the land of the indigenous people who were now headed into concentration and camp for internally displaced persons. Those who died, died. And this is the problem. So this is it. You see why President Buhari introduced visa-free entry policy. Whatever, for they could be shifty. At the time, he was against it. Now, if you ask him, he could, because of what they have promised him, say something else. So, just look at that.
Okay, network. I think
On arrival. No, it
Yes.
wasn't Africans he was calling. He was calling Fulanis from all over Africa, wherever they should come. And when they came to Nigeria, there was no land. Because Nigerians, just like other Africans, are emotionally attached to land. And Nigerians won't give you their land. And you can see it. This is the BBC reporting Buhari promises Africans that they should just come. They will gain land as they come. That they don't need
So
visa,
very
they
quickly,
give you
Dr. Katch, I
visa.
want to quickly, I want you to quickly chime in on this issue. I mean, we'll have a lot of things to talk about, and today we started very late, so time is almost getting fast spent. I am hearing, I mean, there's sources carrying it today, but I haven't seen video evidence or any major news platform carry this news. But it's been all over the social media today that Professor Usman Yusuf, I mean, former NHIS boss, has rejected calls by Defense Minister Christopher Musa for military action against Fulani bandits, insisting that dialogue, not war, is the only solution. Now, is the solution. That he argued that Musa is now a political leader, not a soldier, and should listen to public concerns. Now, Yusuf, we heard, warned that a military approach would fail, adding that past operations by security forces and vigilante groups have caused widespread destruction and led to what he described as an unfair labeling of Fulani individuals as bandit sympathizers. So many would say that, I mean, is it not just fair that Christopher Musa would just come in and help us finish this problem when they happen at all? We need to kill Fulani. Now the bad ones now I won't kill. So people don't begin interpret this one differently. Say, oh, it means say, they will kill innocent people or Fulani people. In they sympathetic towards them. Do you believe that? Oh, dear network. Dr. Katch, can you hear me? Oh no, Dr. Katch, network. Can you hear me, Dr. Katch? Oh, I think your network is frozen. Oh dear, sincere apologies. All right, so while we're waiting on him to rejoin, let's quickly take some other stories that I think it's very important for us to look at. Because a financial expert, Carl Waja, has said President Bola Tinubu took Nigeria's expenditure and debt servicing in the last 2 years from 6 trillion naira and 7 trillion naira to 34 trillion and 12 trillion. It shocked us well. But when they come to that, before we also come to that, make we just look at other issues ABC get to do with the economy. As Nigerian political commentator Sadiq Maunde don't slam President Bola Tinubu over the controversial tax reform, declaring that the government remains a failure. Now, in one post that he shared, I think on Twitter, Monday makes the statement amid growing public debate over the administration's economic policies. His comments comes as the federal government proposes 30 billion US dollars budget reset and a reported 43.56 trillion naira spending plan. And I mean, this is aimed at resolving overlapping fiscal years. So it can't be like, say, what is really going on? The point remains Bola Tinubu is a failure. Now, what's in be saying talk? So this one don't come raise spark a lot of controversy. How dare you say that about our president? How dare you say that? Dr. Katch, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So I don't know if you heard what I asked you about Professor Yusuf.
Yes, I had.
Yes, go ahead.
What you see the prof do is what the Fulani leaders have been doing since. It is
Oh dear, sincere apologies. Network again. Our village people, leave us alone now. Leave us in peace, village. Leave us in peace. Let's have this conversation, please. All right, so I may just go back to that story depending on when he rejoins us. So now critics have argued that the combination of budget and budget reset and tax reforms places additional pressure on citizens and signals weak planning by the administration. How you go reset? I don't tire. Many Nigerians have expressed concern that the measures fail to address pressing economic issues such as rising inflation, increasing cost of living, and transparency in government spending. Okay, sir. Okay, go ahead, sir. Yes, you're back. So go ahead, sir.
What you hear the professor saying is the same thing Fulani leaders are known to do. It is as a consequence of the government's reversal of the doctrine of do not engage. Remember, before now, when you tell the army to deal with these people, Fulani leaders will tell you, the army doesn't have the capacity. They can't fight like our boys. The Fulani leaders are invisible. Now that it's just an issue of instructions, and Buhari is no more there, and the Americans have intervened, and now Tinubu has now told Christopher Musa, engage. Don't wait for any instruction from a politician before you will engage. And he has told that to the soldiers. If anybody cocks a gun near you and shoots you once, engage. Don't wait for any instruction from politicians. So now they have seen that the Fulani militia men are actually not invisible. Before when you say, why is the army not doing anything? He said, no, the army is challenged. The army needs money. The army needs to do this. There is no this, there's no that. No, the army couldn't do anything because the Fulani politicians gave instructions that the army should never engage. You saw it in Kabba when there was actionable intelligence that they were going to come and kidnap children. And somebody made a phone call telling the soldiers to get out of the place, do not engage. Till today, we have not been told who it was that made that phone call, told the army to get out of the school in Kabba, not to engage. Christopher Musa has now taken position, and he's going to show them that the army can if allowed to do their work, deal with these people. And that's why you're seeing all this brouhaha from everywhere. Our army can deal with this crisis. Our army has the capability. It is the same army that goes for peacekeeping and comes back with flowers, with accolades, with praises. But the Fulani just damage the army, poison the army, with even the infiltration of the army with terrorists. They call it Boko Haram, the radicalization, in line with what was done in Afghanistan. So all of them are in on it. That's why you even have some of them say, before you can get our boys to stop killing, you have to put them on the budget. Now this one saying, no, don't fight the terrorists and negotiate with the terrorists, and we want you to treat them well, that they are our freedom fighters. You see it? You didn't call them freedom fighters when they were genocidally killing Nigerians. Now you're asking that they should not be touched. They are your freedom fighters. They are your boys. This is the main reason Buhari, when he Jidika, killed those terrorists when he was there. Buhari came in and got to the east, organized operation unknown gunmen, and used that to kill a lot of Igbos in revenge against what Jidika did ferociously against the army. Who told you tomorrow the Fulani won't be targeting how to go to Southern Kaduna and also revenge? Because General Christopher Musa's people have suffered in the hands of the Fulanis when they were ethnically cleansed of a lot of land of Southern Kaduna. So I think what the Americans have done is good. Take that standard of if you go to anywhere and you still see jihadists, killers, who murderously took over land, still living on that land, then you know that the government is complicit in
We're,
operations
we're
in
we're
those
still
areas.
coming back to this conversation because he on the metal for inside the Enugu state now. He don't did the one where they discover for Enugu. But going back to the economy very quickly, there's something the president said today about the economy, talking about the economy being stabilized and everything okay now. And this is quite contrary to what other people are saying. Because a financial expert, Kalu Aja, don't talk, say President Bola Tinubu took Nigeria's expenditure and debt servicing in the last 2 years, we say the government from 6 trillion naira and 7 trillion naira to 34 trillion naira and 12 trillion naira. Now, he talked this on top of Twitter. He said that Tinubu, in the period under review, doubled Nigeria's revenue from 7.7 trillion to Nigeria's revenue, 7.7 trillion to 20.9 trillion. No Nigerian president has raised revenues like President Tinubu. He took revenue from 7 trillion to 20 trillion within 24 months, and that's very commendable. No Nigerian president has spent funds like President Tinubu. He took spending from 6 trillion to 34 trillion in just 24
What
months.
is not
Now,
telling you?
no Nigerian
What
president,
is
sorry. Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
what is not telling you is that the money he's calling is our earnings, which
That's what I'm
previously
saying. That's what I'm saying. So he's
which
taxing us more by giving by generating more revenue, and then he's
it's
spending
not
more.
it's not just that.
Spent like 3
You know,
times
a
more
lot
in
of
administration.
no listen, a lot of what we did are dollar denominated. So if you see in $500 some years ago or months ago, and you see in $500 tomorrow or next tomorrow, the exchange rate will give you yesterday something like a third of what it will give you today because of the multiple effects of the devaluation of the naira.
But the value, it's not the same. The value is
The
less.
value is
So you
not the
think that
same.
money
I
will
know, but
fly, no reach
that's
anything
what they're
again.
not telling you. The value. So when you earn the same $500 and then you now change it into naira, you're going to get 1,500 naira instead of getting 500 naira. When the value of the money when it was 500 naira. So if you make 500 million in a span of a quarter, And then the 500 million is now changing to naira. Of course, you have 500 million changing to naira. Between today and that time, it will give you exactly 3 times the value that you had the other time,
But we
because
okay.
of the exchange rate mechanism
But
that
what
has
you want
now
use and buy in
seen
call?
them.
What you want use and buy in call? Might be the problem. But let me quickly give you that footage of where President Tinubu is saying it so that we'll understand. Make it not be like saying me talk.
The economy of this country was in a very difficult situation. But I can tell you today that we are out of the tunnel of depression and economic disaster. The economy has turned the corner for good.
All right, I'm sorry for that low audio. Say the economy been there for very difficult place, but right now the economy don't turn to corner, it don't turn for good. It did better now. And this they contrary to waiting people they go through. As somebody like Ibrahim Abdul Karim don't come out, come talk, say, hey, we get to do something about this administration, because if we know come out President Bola Tinubu, all of us go perish. That we need to change this administration or we all perish. Let me take your thought quickly, before we jump right into more conversations.
Well, those are just wishful thinking. You can't get rid of Tinubu when Tinubu has already seized the era empire. That's why you're seeing governors everywhere very afraid, because they know elections don't make sense. No matter what you vote, he will use his grip on the umpire to write results. And when you talk, he say, go to court. Can't you see? The judiciary is in shambles. So that's why when the act told me the other day that Justice Tanko died, I said, really? That madman that was used to capture the judiciary. So these people will never live long, but they don't care how they have destroyed the country after being successful with state capture. But I can tell you something, this phase will go. And that's why you see Nigerians are very happy for the intervention of the United States in our affairs today. The number one most loved human being in Nigeria is President Trump of the United States. A majority of Nigerians love Trump very, very much.
Not all
Trump's,
Nigerians.
listen, it doesn't have to be all.
Okay, sir.
Those who are terrorism sponsors don't like Trump. Those who are jihadists don't like Trump. Those who also want to use violence to appropriate Nigeria to themselves don't like Trump. What Trump is a leveler. And since he came, all the bad people, all the sympathizers and patrons of the bad people and the evil that's been going on in the country, those who support the genocidal ethnic cleansings, they don't like Trump. Those who think that by the work of the jihadists, they themselves will own Nigeria, they don't like Trump. But we love him. We are happy. Since he's intervened with his statements, you can see how things are beginning
Well,
to
he has
change.
stopped people like you and I now from entering US now. As to not carry another passport but Nigerian passport. Is it fair?
Well, what are we going to US to do when we should stay here and fix our country? What are you going to run into US for? Why do you want to run to the United States when we can fix our country? I have seen people tell me that. They said, I said, what do I need for? I have finished education of my children. All of them have gone through the university system, and they are gainfully useful members of society. What am I going to United States for? Tell me, what am I going to do there for? I want
Okay,
to
sir.
run away. I want to
Okay.
jackpot, run because of how bad the politicians have made things here. No, no, no. We stay here and salvage it. If I run away from here, who's going to be here to put pressure on the system for the system to change? No, we will stay here and change this country. And I tell
All right.
you,
Now, so speaking
it
about
is
changing.
doable.
All right, sir. So speaking
It is
about
doable.
changing,
Yes.
more things still they happen. More still they happen, and this they worry people because as I speak to you, they say over 37 worshippers, will include children. Now they don't kidnap again for Kogi State, and they demand for ransom of 600 million naira. You see, the way that they use call the money, they cut mind come out from person body. Because not just on Sunday night them come kidnap them for ECWA. Those ones when they carry for ECWA Church on Sunday. This is the amount they're asking for their release. I can't even go further to talk about this story because it's really heartbreaking. And that won't be the only insecurity matter we get. Oh, by the way, I not tell you yesterday, sir. Say they catch me Allah people where they see with gun where come from NSA office. The gun they issued by NSA's office. So some of them too then catch them with terrorism. So Headers Union Mieti Allah don't deny links to the arrested, neutralized, suspected bandits in Kwara, Kogi State. While it be say Mieti Allah can also say, you know, their vigilante don't parade another kidnappers. So they defend their members and say these ones them from Edo State. In fact, let me take the story. Members of the Mieti Allah affiliated vigilante group have paraded suspected kidnappers arrested in Obajana in Kogi State, the Kwara State capital. Now, this comes amid growing controversy over the arrest and police parading of some of their members by the Nigerian army in Edo State. Nigerian army holds some of them, but then they don't hold other people. So now people they talk. So is it that the Office of the National Security Advisor, they give Mieti Allah guns as vigilantes to use do what exactly? When it be say most of the things where they happen, they also credit them to them.
That thing is a different story. What I understand is
No, that's two different stories. That's two different stories together. I just make
hear me now.
Yes, sir.
I followed the story when it broke.
All right, sir.
And I spoke to some Fulani leaders. They told me they don't know those people.
Oh.
That those people are Bororo Fulanis from neighboring countries. And that if there is Mieti Allah is a Nigerian organization founded in 1972 after the Nigerian Civil War. But you also have a new Mieti Allah, which is a Mieti Allah Katohore, which has been waging war for land on the Benue Basin. That's a different thing. All of them have denied. They say they don't know these people. Because how can the NSA be sending Bororo Fulanis who are not Nigerian Fulanis to go to Kwara State? I don't understand. Is it that he got them? Yes, is it that he sent them there, or he's trying to provide cover for Fulanis that were caught so that the people do not waste them? Because the instruction now across the country is once you catch them, waste them.
Remember, this way the talk now don't make sense because remember, say over the weekend, they did some way they catch, we open my talk, say na Kwara State governments now give them the gun where they use. So now because of this kind of thing, now make it a talk. Now we see
listen, a lot of these people are fake. But if the NSA says leave them, they are from me, I know about them, and then the original Mieti Allah say no, we don't know these people, because these people cannot be our people, they're not from us. We are Nigerian organizations. How can you tell that Bororo Fulani who came from outside are part of our members? We don't know those people. Now, this is a problem. This is a problem. So the NSA organizes privately without telling the Mieti Allah in Nigeria. It's a problem. Did NSA get these people privately to go and check about the influx of foreign Fulanis who are now fighting tooth and nail to wrest Kwara State from the hands of Yorubas? Because Kwara hangs with Yorubas, some Nupe, some other places. If you go from Sharigi to Shari, start going towards Pategi and the border, there are different configurations. And we are sure, we know, as the crisis in Benue became issue, a lot of the Fulanis who were flooding the country were now going to Kwara State. So it is possible that the NSA may have enlisted the help of real Bororo leaders from those countries to go to those areas and try to see who are the people coming there from outside. Are these your people? Or are these just criminal Fulanis from anywhere coming in with guns to seek land? If they are your people, please speak to them in voice they will hear so that they can leave and go away. But of course, in doing this, the local Mieti Allah saying they are not aware. These are not their members. So can the NSA on his own form his own Mieti Allahs? We don't know. So we are yet to find out the truth of what he's doing. We know there are two Mieti Allahs in
Yes.
Nigeria. The Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders
Cattle
Association formed in 1972 after the Civil War to bring Fulanis together, who were actually the people I used to see on television arguing against me, telling me, no, there is no land grab. These people are only people here passing through with their cattle in relations to the West African protocol on free movement of goods and services. I told them that is not true. There are no headers farmers crisis. These are new Fulanis coming in with corns from Mali, Central African Republic, Burkina Faso, the Gambia, those not allowed to enter Ghana because the Ghanaian government is very firm against the Fulani issue. And as they now come here, the local Miet Allah try to protect them, just the same way you see Buhari try to protect them, telling them to come, he will give them land, visa on arrival. But of course, when he couldn't give them land, you can see what has happened. They have now turned themselves, as dangerous as a man with a gun. You know what it is. You bring gun, you come into the country, you stay in a bush, and you stay there. Those who promise you they give you land, don't give you. They turn you, don't turn up. And then you get angry, and you start using the gun you have to now committing criminality, killing people. And who do you now blame? You don't blame us Nigerians for crying that these people are criminals. When this happened, Buhari used government machinery to take guns away from Nigerians who had licenses to keep guns. So the only people with guns in the country were Fulanis. Most of the Fulanis were coming in. These are not Nigerian Fulanis. They are Nigerian Fulanis. Remove them from the land that they now occupy. Let them go back to their states. There are no Fulanis leaving their states in Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto to say that they want to now come and live in states like Niger, Nasarawa, Benue, Plateau, Taraba, or even Southern Kaduna. So who are these new people that are occupying lands, villages, while the actual of these homes, villages, and lands are now headed into concentration camps by the government? And the government is comfortable. That's why the government is complicit in this particular jihad. So there's no way they can run away about it.
So people now don't they complain? Nigerians don't they complain? Yoruba people they complain. Some Yoruba unions they complain. Say why no Yoruba will carry gun, give any militia group from any ethnic group at all, for any ethnic group at all. Say no they good at all. So they don't blast this somewhere. Be say they see gun away from an office. So inside Fulani people their hand say they don't like them at all.
That's why I tell you, cool down. We don't yet know the truth. He claimed he gave them gun and claimed that they have met Allah. Met Allah said they don't know them. So it's no bad creating his own international met Allahs, bringing them in and giving them gun for them to go out become new militias. Militias for what? How can you bring non-Nigerians who are Bororo Fulanis into Nigeria, send them to Kwara? When they are caught, you now say that you know about it. What is their mission that the army or the police cannot do in those places?
All right,
we
sir.
don't know who's speaking the truth yet.
All right,
let us wait for
but
further
it happens
clarification.
in Enugu State now too, because some camps belonging to jihadist killer headsmen have been reportedly discovered in, I think, Ezeago communities and their villages where they're around, some other villages where they're around there for inside Enugu State, with renewed calls for the Nigerian government's attention in those areas. And in a new security report, Sahara reporters say they obtained them, and other news outlets also don't announce them on Thursday, today. It highlighted the camps in Ezago communities and villages to include Imezi Owa, I think Agwo Bonwa, and then Olo, Mbabo Owa, and then Ogi. These are the areas, and these camps, all of them get some Fulani concentrated camps, or these villages. Now, they say these areas are set to be affected. The reports by the International Society of Civil Liberties and Rule of Law, and them
Inter-society.
So Inter-Society raised alarm over the discovery of more than 20 jihadist terror dens operating in forests across communities in Ezagu, just one locality, local government alone, then get 20. Now, in the report that is released by its investigative team, the organization said the camps were uncovered during recent field findings in the area. According to Inter-Society, the alleged camps are highly organized and follow a layered structure. Now, they said the dens of terror are also found to have been structurally divided into 6 layers, with each camp coordinated by an Alhaji, who is also a member of the Nigerian Security Forces protected by Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, and placed in charge of a group of Ezago Forest and their living environs, with the heads of cattle roaming freely and destroying lives, properties, and of course the livelihoods of people in terms of their farmings, with reckless abandon. Now, the group also alleged that the operations are coordinated around, I think, Ajali River axis. Now, the Ajali River axis, they said, the 6 layered jihadist Fulani structure, according to the society, are also generally linked to the Ajali River and its valley as their terror headquarters, from where jihadist activities are coordinated and spread across the affected 14 Izago communities and their villages, of which Ezago communities and villages like Imeziowa and the rest that I mentioned were part of. So now, like this, now they spread across all of it, about 20 of them. It's a long grid, and I may not just want to bore you with all this. Should people in Enugu State be worried, sir?
People in every part of Nigeria should be worried. Because I will tell you, that's why we all say that the government is complicit in all this. The president cannot say he doesn't get these reports. He gets briefed security-wise every month. What does he do with it? He sits down, he accepts it, just as he accepts the killings and the seizure of similar land in Benue, in Plateau, in Niger, in Southern Kaduna, and in other places. And when you see this thing, what you see are Muslims. Where did they come from? They are not members of these communities. What are they doing on those lands? And when they do that, the indigenous people will either be killed and some of them will run away. We are only beginning to hear this because we're now being allowed to speak openly due to the American intervention. Before, we're not allowed to say such. And that's part of the reason why you saw Tinubu was working hard to pocket all the governors. The democracy is almost dead. And this is not very good for the country. But we're grateful that Americans are finally here helping us. As I'm speaking to you now at the borders, we know that we cannot handle the security challenges. So, of course, it makes sense that we allow the Americans to come and help us. Because if Tinubu tells me he can't find Nigerian companies to handle the tax administration, and then he invites the French to come handle the taxes, the one that is visible being the security that you can't handle, also allow and invite the Americans to come and help us. I don't understand. Unless you're complicit in a plot to totally wipe away the Christians from these places and take their lands to give to the Muslims. Is it the way they intend to gain majority Muslim population in Christian majority Nigeria. So we don't really know the reason for this jihad in 2025. That she shouldn't exist. And we
All right.
think, yes.
Mm. So because it's still continuing for Borno State, it's still they happen. We hear say the long baby chairman of local government and councillor with passengers. So this thing is just everywhere. However, for inside the north now, northern Christians now they give Tinubu reasons. We go make and sack Matawale. You think say you go fit sack Matawale because they're saying that different reasons they will be say you sack this man. I beg sack him because of the accusations that they don't make against them, allegations surrounding Bello Matawale and Toju Bello and bandits, different things. I don't know if you noticed that recent accusation too, where somebody don't they talk about them. So people they say all of these reasons they enough. They're northern Christians now they talk this one. So they enough for the president to use sack Matawale. Why some people they talk in a handwork of bad belly people when you like them?
Well, the northern Christians' problem is that Matawale is an existential threat to their son, who is a minister of defense. He will continue to leak information from that ministry to their terrorist brothers. You heard what that professor said. The Fulani are fundamentally this way. They will not stop. They are going to continue to be that communally, available to the interests of the Fulani community. And amongst them is sharing information. Remember what happened when the Americans came earlier to help us during the Good Luck days. And before you knew it, the terrorists were all wearing gas masks because the Americans said that they will throw gas and everybody will go off and they go and get the girls out. No, before you knew it, bingo, all the terrorists were wearing gas masks. That meant information was leaking. So I can understand that Matawale is not the right person. Matawale, Badere, Ribadu, they were all given chance to solve this Fulani problem, being Fulanism. But they couldn't do that. So since they couldn't do that, you have to now remove them. Bring in those you think that can do it. Don't bring people who will do it and then you try to handicap them by planting stool pigeons in all their windows. It doesn't really make sense. I think that's wrong. But then Tinubu has his own mind. Tinubu knows what he's doing. Only him knows what he's doing. Only him also knows his plans. I don't know. We can only advise, but only him can act, being president of the country.
All right. So, reacting to this conversation, somebody, prominent former governorship candidate and prominent businessman and political commentator, Babangida Gbadamus, he don't spark firestorm of controversy within sharp criticism of President Bola Tinubu administration, accusing the administration of harboring terrorists following the viral video involving an Osun State-based Islamic header. Remember that man? The man where BC been they play videos of Free Palestine gather. Did you see that video, sir? I may not play it because of YouTube policies and all that. So they say they arrest the man. Later the coin here say they not arrest and they don't free him. How can somebody be grooming young ones for something that seemed like it's terrorism and you arrest and finish from? So Badamasi said he is basically confirming that official bad government is a government of terrorists. Because on Wednesday, Badamasi reacted to the statement today, yesterday, when he's as a leader. I think his name is Tawunu Muslimen Islamic Group. Yeah, that's the name of his group. Sheikh Dawood Imran Malasan denied reports that of his arrest by DSS. So as he said they're not arrested, now Nigerians start saying, wait, with all this that he did, he wasn't arrested? If it was someone that is from the southeast will do something like this, what's going to be the person fate by now? So now, but I don't see the talk say make we arrest him because make Kukuma leave him because President Bola Tinubu don't show say for not arresting him. And be say in the Kukuma, associate with bandits, so in they okay with them. But do you think that Nigerians should be worried about what that man is doing? And why do you think he hasn't been arrested by the DSS yet?
Well, he hasn't been arrested because we are only waking up to a long period of state capture achieved by the Muslim fundamentalists. So, and under Buhari's rule, every one of them is expected to show that he's doing what the man that you are talking about is doing. And his own is very demonstrative of his own preachings. It's not just any kind. He also acts, he shows them off. And he uses boxing to also get the people into spirit. That's who he is. So for him, that's a war on. I would want to tell you that we're not going to get rid of the fundamentalists in us. But at least the Americans have made a good discovery. We have to ban Sharia everywhere. It is that Sharia that in it has these elements of incitement to hate. And let us start from there. Remove it. Yes. That incitement to hate. Let us start by discarding whatever it is that funnels and fuels it. I think there's enough space in Nigeria for everybody to live together, coexist peacefully, they live alone. But the problem we have is there are those who insist that there should be no separation between the religion and the state. And this is where this problem is. You see, we're supposed to be a secular country, but no, others want to reinterpret it in ways that they don't understand. Look at what you're saying. We're supposed to be a country where our democracy should put freedom, growth, and an expansion of individual freedoms in the country. But no, the Sultan heads a caliphate whose interest is to get successful at settler colonialism. Just like those people you talked about in Enugu. That's what they're trying to do. They settle, they colonize the land. And before you know it, they say leave them there because government also keeps a blind eye to what they are doing. And that was why I told you that it is good that we see the Sultanate as a terrorist organization. Don't forget, the Fulanis are historically not indigenous to Nigeria. They came after the Portuguese came, the English came, and they came last in 1804. But when we got independence, the British left, they stayed behind. Why? The British used them to do what we refer to in history today as indirect rule. So they were helping the British to rule over the House of Bokwe states. And when the British left, it was them who organized the killings in the Kanu riots of 1953. And the British said, I mean, some can actually kill so that we can stay. And so they now left them there. And since then, all they've been doing is shedding blood, killing, and using fear to frighten Nigerians, not to disturb them as they expand their game of settler colonialism. We are now fighting that strategy of them trying to settler colonize all of us. They are not indigenous to Nigeria. The Fulani should have left when the British left. They have nothing to do here. They do not have history of peacefully coexisting with Africans anywhere on the continent. Check from Senegal to Mali, from Central African Republic down to Cote d'Ivoire, from Ghana to the Gambia. They do not have any history of peaceful coexistence with Africans anywhere on the continent.
So, Dr. Katch, the real issue now, how they will use commot the Sharia law. By the way, earlier, I think it was today or yesterday, Riley Moore had an interview with Fox News again. I mean, he's been talking a lot lately. We still look forward to him reporting sending a report to Donald Trump based on waiting EBC in experience for inside Nigeria. But pending on that, this is what he tweeted, what he said. Oh dear, Dr. Katch, I think the network has booted you out. Okay. So he did say our brothers, okay, yeah, I'm sure you can hear us now. He did say our brothers and sisters in Christ are being persecuted, murdered, and martyred for their faith. Thank you at President Donald Trump for asking me to lead this investigation in the House. We are Christian nation. We must stand up for Christians. This is truly right and just. More from my interview, and then he posted the link to the interview. But let me quickly just play an excerpt of that
Less than a minute left, but you and I have talked about Christian persecution in Nigeria before, and I know you recently went to a very transformative trip over there, meeting with dozens of Christians who were driven from their homes, victims of just horrific violence over there, and now they're living in camps. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that, what you experienced, who you talked to, and what they're saying right now?
Well, they are very grateful for President Trump's focus on this, and obviously President Trump tapped me publicly to go and investigate this and look at this, and we have been compiling a report that we're going to present to President Trump here soon on recommendations on how to move forward on this. But let me just make something very clear. Our brothers and sisters in Christ are losing their lives in Nigeria due to the profession of their faith in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. They are being murdered, slaughtered, martyred every day in Nigeria. We went to Benue State, met with these internally displaced people who are living in refugee camps. I met a woman who had all 5 of her children murdered in front of her. These Christians are being persecuted by Islamic terrorists that have put forward a genocidal campaign to move them off of their ancestral homeland. And we do have to stand up for our Christians. We have to stand up for them. We are a Christian nation, and this is what's right, and I think it's what's just.
It absolutely is.
All right, so that's now waiting Ibise Riley more talk. I mean, he's been talking about this same story. This one story when here, now they shaking, but you never hear all that. So this one story now here, there's some way stories where was past that one. This one when here, now they shaking, but then still they talk about persistently. But the real issue will be how it would be possible for President Bola Tinubu to stop Sharia from the other 12 states. I mean, I've hosted a Muslim here, Majid Dahiru, who said that in belief, say, the Sharia law not supposed to exist because it promotes extremism. You know, in Tokam, he's a Muslim, and he said that. So that means there are some Muslims that also believe that they believe the same thing where the US they talk about the Sharia law. But the problem is, say, the Sultan of Sokoto will agree, that is the Islamic Caliphate we get for Nigeria now, he will agree. So that kind of thing. What's be the challenge where President Bola Tinubu go face while they try to come out this thing? And if you no conflict come out them, waiting the United States go likely do. This now, questions where you say they worry people for mind.
Well, there are different scenarios. It is possible that when those people refuse to conform in a way that all of us would be seen to belong to the same country, I don't know, they might go from their own country. If we are not compatible, I don't see anything wrong in that. If they say that instead of them to give, they will rather there's no Nigeria, will say no. We can live in Nigeria without Sharia. They themselves can also live peacefully on their own. I don't see a problem. We can make 4 nations out of this. I think so. We could make the Sharia far north. Then we can make the middle belt. Then we can make the western of Nigeria. We can make eastern Nigeria. So I don't, that's 4 good nations. I don't see why we should want to kill ourselves with a British mistake that doesn't work. I don't think that's correct. I think a marriage you try, and then it becomes a marriage with irreconcilable, issues where you cannot agree. There's nothing wrong with walking away instead of trying to kill yourself, which is what we're trying to do now. So I think part of the far north can conveniently, because we have passed the 100-year experimentation period set by the British in regards to their amalgamation. So it has expired. We may be now working to have 4 nations out of present-day Nigeria. We don't have to be in a nation where one single part from the topmost Sahara region, filled with a lot of people who actually historically are not Nigerian, now seek Nigeria on their own terms. If it doesn't work, instead of us to have these genocidal actions that they perpetrate against the rest of Nigerians, because nobody is happy to have a neighbor who levies war against you. I think the peaceful thing to do is to do like it has happened in other nations. Other countries have peacefully separated themselves instead of fighting to kill themselves forever. So instead of us fighting to kill ourselves, I think the right thing may be we get 4 nations out of present-day Nigeria. We have the Arewa North.
So what would be the lot of the Christians in that place? Because there are lots of Christians there too. So
You cannot make it 100% Christians, because if you take areas like Southern Borno out of it, Southern Gombe out of it, Southern Bauchi out of it, and then Southern Kaduna out of it, I think we can go down that bend to bring those people in the southern areas who are not Muslims and bring them into the middle belt. And then they leave the people who seek a fundamentalist society to go form their own union on their own so that they can happily live with Sharia. I don't think that's too much for anybody to ask for. It is doable, it is possible, and I think it should be done instead of us killing ourselves needlessly.
All right, thank you. Nigerians phone lines are open. All right, let's have you jumping on the conversation. 0817-029-4077. That's the number to call. So just call in case you get any question for Dr. Katch. 0817-029-4077. Or perhaps you have a contribution to make, please do so. 0817-029-4077. And I'd like to quickly say a big thank you to, I see some people we don't send their widow's mite to for the charity thing. What would they do on the 1st of January, my birthday? I'd like to say a big thank you to you. I don't know who this person is. The money came in with Techno Payment. There's no name to it. Fincra Techno Payment. I don't know who you are, but I'd like to say thank you to you. Just so you know, you sent how much? 15,000 naira token. So in case now you are big, I appreciate you big time. Thank you so much. And Oviaiwe Kingsley, thank you very much. I see you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Sure, Adiola, I see you and appreciate you. Thank you so much. And that's why I'm going to call on our names and when I see the money one by one. I just want to tell them and say I appreciate you. Oga Tony Chukudi, I don't thank you yesterday. Make a thank you again today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. God bless you. Phone lines are open, people. 0817-029-4077. And if you mind, if God still touch your mind, make you be say you do something, as per say, will you go visit some of these people where the IDP camp? Apart from giving them personal belongings, we won't look whether, personal effect. We won't look whether one or two of them, if we just rent house for them. Putting in a lot on this, and I just know that I can work with your support, and I'm counting on you guys to help us. All right, phone lines are open. Let's see who we have behind. Is there one more question where I get for you, Dr. Katch? And that gets to do with Nnamdi Bishop Kuka, go visit him for Sokoto State. Do you think that's strategic? Make we talk to Henry first, so they come back to take a reaction on that. Henry, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, good evening, Precious. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How about you?
I'm okay. Yeah. Well, the question I want to ask Dr. Katch, in ever since this our union in Nigeria is not working, why is it that anytime people say that they want to break away, because this Fulani of a particular set, they are the one that are dragging this country, the nation down? Because let's say if Yoruba is on their own, Igbo is on their own, other tribe is on their own, all of us can be competing. Things will be going. But if you look at these northern people, they think that the country belongs to, as it is, all they think is that whatever thing they say is what will happen in that country. Why is it that other people cannot just pull out from these people? Because they are the ones that are causing a whole lot of problem in that country. So why is it that our people cannot pull out? That is my question.
Dr. Katch, would you like to react to that? Why is it hard to pull out? Yes.
Our local indigenous people.
Thank you. Do you have a follow-up question?
No, let him finish this one, then I can.
Okay, all right, go ahead, sir.
When the British left, they continued to neo-colonize the country using the Fulani as their managers at home. So the Fulani thought, since they have the ears of the British, that they should simply act as the guardians. You see, the British used the Fulani to serve the British interest over the Hausa Bokwe states. These are the 7 Hausa states whom the British were asking the Fulani to help them do what was called indirect rule over the Hausas. But then in the rest of the country, the British had direct rules where they appointed DC, DO, district officers, district commissioners, and then later on, after the Anglo-Arab War in 1900, the British tried appointing warrant officers in a lot of the places. These warrant officers served the British interest. It was only when the British were leaving and were going to have House of Chiefs that most communities started electing what they call chiefs in 1958, so that they can represent communities in the House of Chiefs. So the Fulani continued to use violence to suppress the Hausas. So yes, Nigerians say they are independent. Independence is only mostly in the South. The Hausas are not independent. That's why till this morning, till today, only the Fulani still rule over Hausa states. So what the Hausas have is their language is used. The core Hausa states today, with no mixes, apart from Fulanis in the administrative palaces, are Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kano. If you go to states like Jigawa, you'll see mixes of other tribes and so on. These are the 4 states, and you don't see any mix. It is just core Hausa. And it's been this way. So since the Fulani had access to the British, can tell them and they agreed, the other people start thinking that whatever the Fulani say, whenever anybody say they want to pull out, the Fulani will complain to the British. The British then you try to use the international links to say this shouldn't happen. This is the first time in our history you're seeing the United States intervene. If it were before, the US won't intervene because it wouldn't want to anger the British sensibilities. But since they know that both the British and the French have lost the ability to have anybody listen to them here in West Africa, the Americans are coming because of geopolitical calculations of the fact that the British and the French have lost all capacity to keep control of anybody in West Africa. So the Russians have come to replace them, and the Russians punished the French by assuming presence in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and also in Niger, which is on top of Nigeria. So the Americans now felt Nigeria is too important from a geopolitical perspective to be allowed to fall into the hands of jihadists, because jihadists from all over the world are massing into Nigeria. And when you now see President Tinubu negotiating away Katsina and Sokoto to the hands of the jihadists who were now carrying guns, parading, and in some places they tell you out of 34 local government, the jihadists are now in charge of 20. Now you know it's a problem. We're even talking about Katsina, where they say places like Niger, they are in charge of places where nobody's talking about. So we have problems. You've just heard now how Precious talked about forests where they are in Enugu, and nobody talks about it. I only learned about it from Inter-Society. So these things occur in a lot of places, and the government seems comfortable with it. I don't know if to blame Tinubu for being comfortable with it because he's a Muslim. So he thinks the Muslims will be everywhere, and as they all plan, because if you check, since after the Nigerian Civil War, the Fulanis have only been comfortable with Yoruba Muslims because of their experience with Yoruba Christians as led by Chief Awolowo. So that's why after the Civil War, the Fulani have only helped the rise of people like Arishakola, Abiola, Tinubu. You see that? They're comfortable working with. But still, it has a limit. Tinubu is now seeing the reason why I would never trust the Fulani. Tinubu wasn't even 2 years into his tenure as president. The Fulani started complaining against him. Abiola, no matter how they pretended towards him, he won election. The Fulani supported the annulment of that election. So it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem. The last election, of course, was won by Peter Obi, but the Fulani annulled it. And that was when Tinubu said, listen, if you don't want the problem of June 12th, if a Southerner wins and you don't like him, find another Southerner. I can do it for you. They refused to give Tinubu power. He has to use money to buy it off them. That's why every time they come to harass him, share us into power, I say, I won't share you because I paid you off. I bought it from you. You didn't give it to me in trust. And then they started fighting. Of course, you know, they tried coup. The coup was outed, and that went down. They broke away from the party. That party you see, ADC, the people who paid Okenwosu originally to take possession. Is this Malami you hear now?
Another faction of ABC don't even come out. They don't start cooking.
No, it is not the faction. It is the original ADC. They refuse to be part of Okenwosu's
Raf
Okenwosu's deal with these people. So, you know, Raf Wosu was negotiating with people he knew, and then when the time for business came, Malami them came in, had the Sidika came in. Of course, government knows about it, and now they've been picked up, and of course, the rest is history. So, the Fulani, yes, you're right for your question. They are the problem of the country. If at independence they have left as the British left, Nigeria will have progressed. The Hausas will have been freer. They wouldn't have used their suppression of the Hausa states as a launching pad to undermine the rest of Nigeria.
So I get a question where I will ask you here what person asks. But before then, let me quickly reply to, I think this is Dejiko, the account details they pasted here. So if you kindly see the account details here, I don't really highlight them. So somebody here, I think Muhammad Usman did say something. He said, who is an indigenous of Nigeria? Why are you biased about history? How can you now separate the Fulanese from other Nigerians after being blended genetically through intermarriages?
That is not true. The Fulani did not refuse to blend. The Fulani refused assimilation, as I'm speaking to you now with the rest of Nigeria.
So if I ask you, who they indigenous to Nigeria? I say nobody they indigenous to Nigeria.
The people who are indigenous to Nigeria are those who were here before the Portuguese came. Those who were here before the British came. Those who were here before the Fulani came in 1804. And when the Fulani came, they refused to blend with us. You will never see a Fulani man consciously marry a Hausa woman. It doesn't happen till this.
Seriously, sir?
Take it from me.
So Hausas
you will never see.
Alone?
Well, the Hausas, the Fulani do not regard the Hausa. They look down on them.
Seriously?
They look down on them.
Come on, answer.
Oh,
Can
yes.
you raise this question? If I join the studio, make you help me answer. Mohammed.
That is why the Muslims, the Fulanis kill are Hausas. Hausas in Basari, in Sapana, in Dutsima, in Damusa, in Kankara, in Maru, in Dangobe, in Dansada. They call them Muslims. But
all
Fulanis
the ones that's happening in Birinin Gwari and all the rest of them, are they also...
Birinin Gwari, Hausas are killed there, Gbagis are killed there. You know, Birinin Gwari itself is a Gbagi town. The Gbagis own Birinin Gwari.
The original people, then way they close to that Abuja.
Yes, the Gbagis own Briningwari, own Abuja, own Pandogali, own Alawa, own Kaduna, own Zaria. The Gbagis do own this. Okay? So what the Fulani seek, because if you're coming in from Kaduna towards Briningwari, the minute you pass that Kaswan Katako towards the airport, it's all bandit country. That also went to Kaduna to ethnically cleanse the Christians. It is Fulanis think they can take Kaduna the same way they think they can take Jos. They're not indigenous to Nigeria. They are not indigenous. And they have not been able to find the ability to peacefully coexist with Nigerians anywhere on the continent, not just Nigeria, anywhere on the continent. There is nowhere in Africa where the Fulanis peacefully coexist with Africans. It
People
doesn't
say
exist.
you're profiling them. You go there like they profile.
It is not profiling when is it me that wrote a report in America where it cited the Fulanis? Ask yourself, which other ethnicity was cited in that American report? It is the Fulanis who are killing. The people committing ethnic cleansings and taking over people's land are the Fulani, not the Ibira who are doing ISWAP. It is not also the Kanuris who are just trying to create what they want where they are. It is the Fulani who are killing people all over Nigeria. It is the Fulani who are committing ethnic cleansings. This is the problem. This is why we're having issues. If you go to Plateau, the 64 communities where people are sacked and headed into concentration camps, offenses committed by the Fulani. So if we say that the part of the car that touches the ground is the tire, you're not profiling the tire, you're stating the fact. It's the tire that touches the ground and rolls. So you don't profile the tire, you're speaking the truth. Who's killing? Ask the man writing that in. Who else is doing the killing in Nigeria? At the beginning, they say, no, don't call them the Fulani, call them bandits. The name bandit was formulated by the Buhari administration as a way to mask who is doing this. And when I called them Fulani, they said, no, you're profiling. And I said, you're asking me, I'm profiling. You don't come out to condemn them. You keep quiet about what they are doing. Now that the Americans say they want to come and wipe away the terrorists, you say no, that they are your freedom fighter, that we should even put them in the budget and be giving them money. Now, don't you hear the professor now saying, no, don't touch them, don't kill them. Well, don't you understand this? They are all in it together. None of them is different. What they pray is to take over our country. People who don't own Nigeria, our fathers have been here for hundreds of years, will have no from any.
But President Bola Tinubu don't give directives. Say the reason they cause all this problem. Not for my head that clash. Say this for my head that clash. Say make
no.
Go look for the president.
Bola, that is the lies.
Settle them.
Those are the lies. Yeah. They try to lie, telling you it is a clash caused by changes and the struggle for land. It's not true. There are no Nigerians moving from Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, or Kanu and seeking to be relocated elsewhere. It is not in Nigeria's land that people should come to Benue, shouting Allahu Akbar, and then use that to kill Nigerians and take over their land. And then the government will support a heading of those places, head them into a concentration camp. Whereas Fulanis take over their lands. In Plateau, take over their lands. In Taraba, in Niger, take over their lands. In Kaduna, take over their lands in Benue. Why is it only the Fulani doing this? And when we speak the truth, you say we're profiling the criminals who are doing this. Why don't you condemn them? You don't condemn them. When we say that the army should go after them, you say, don't touch them. They are our freedom fighters. What freedom? Who's fighting with you? Who is fighting with you? Is there any fight for you to say these are your freedom fighters? These are just nothing but murderous.
All right. Hello, good evening, and welcome.
Good evening. Precious, good evening.
Sir, welcome, sir.
I don't want to see if he will explain more because I'm worried about the tax issue. The tax issue.
Help me tell me your name now. It's good as you not tell us your name like this.
Okay. My name is MOG.
Okay.
Because before you can do anything about that, from the way I understand it, it's like you're going to give your data away. So we that lives in Western world, we know how important everyone's data.
Yes.
How they protect data. Even if you want your wife to say something for you or do something for you, or you want to do something for your wife, when you call them on phone, first of all they will ask you her name or his name. Then they will ask you if she's aware, or if he's aware you want to do this, and to ask you date of birth just to protect your data.
Yes, just to be sure saying that you and they're under compulsion or something.
So now they're giving France, a foreign country, Western people that knows the importance of protecting data of people living in their country. And then now they are now giving our data away to them to get these stars. Now they are saying, are they giving our data away? I just want to know, because I'm confused, because I want to understand if it's only because they said that Nigerians, they just want to know what they call it, technical know-how or something like that. Are they are insulting Nigerians, because Nigerians are doing good everywhere, all aspects of the world, like medical, engineering and tech, Now, is it the France that are going to teach us how to manage our tasks, or are they deliberately giving out our data away? I don't know. I don't understand, because the money is not the problem.
But I don't get Dr. Katch, they work for FIRS, and they work for Tinubu. So I don't tell you. No wahala. He go answer you. But no problem. He go answer you. No problem. But the Nigerian government, Dr. Katch, I don't know if you saw that circular by FIRS. If you saw the circular that day, it's okay. Thank you so much, my brother. Make I take another caller. What are they showing the circular? Hello, good evening and welcome. All right, so make I quickly show you that circular by FIRS, where they be the narrate what they do for inside this data thing. Make you quickly see them. This now waiting they talk. Then talk say the thing no get anything to do with data sharing. Sorry, get anything to do with them. Go just read them there now as they use put them. So that now waiting the talk. Even though say people talk say this explanation we then give, cut out at all, answer well. But make a who is this person calling persistently? All right. So this explanation we then give. A lot of people they talk say this explanation gone body well. But even at that, well, now waiting or not explain to us, but they say now waiting then won't do. Be this say they no go share, no be about sharing of data. Say now waiting everybody for the world don't do before be this, and will not be the first people we want to. Even though say they no give us example of any country we don't borrow this kind of tax law as one borrow like this. They never give us. They don't give us that kind of example. But they say na normal thing, and then the contact say you don't get anything to do with any sensitive data sharing and all that. But people go talk say how person will help you create a tax arrangement where be say no go carry anything about data, because now the data them now you go use to even do it you won't do in the first place. So I've been a government they whine us, or FIRS they whine us, or now them no understand the full thing or the conversation where they get with what did they call them, the French government. So there is a lot where you say will not understand for inside this matter. So but make I take your reaction before I even you don't see them, you don't see their response now. Hello, sir. Dr. Katch, can you hear me, sir? All right, let me see if Dr. Katch, can you hear me? Oh dear, have I lost him? Oh dear, I've lost Dr. Katch. All right. Okay, so Nigeria's phone lines are still open, by the way. So I mean, you could do well to jump in on the conversation. 0817-029-4077. That's the number to call. I think say the network don't boot Dr. Katch out, and I know I'm certain he'll rejoin the conversation very shortly. So Phone lines are open. Let's take your thoughts and reactions on the conversation as it comes in. I was just going to say this before the network remove us, or but before we start to take calls. Let's see. I think Dr. Katch has rejoined. Oh no, that's not Dr. Katch. Okay, so I could talk to my brother the Barrys. We'll come back. I'm sure see Dr. Katch before Barrys don't finish. Dr. Katch will join us. The Barrys, good evening and welcome.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Beautiful, precious. Compliment of the season.
But the Barrys, my bed in the 1st of
Yes.
January. I never see your hand though. It be like
I just
come now.
I just
Not
come.
that
You know,
soon.
sir,
Thank you. Not that
no
soon.
worry.
Just put into the IDP where they go visit. Now all I want.
You know, sir, I don't they follow this project because you don't even know. Don't worry. Okay, maybe this time if it's see my real name, you know, go see how they do some summer.
No
But anyways,
No problem.
I just so I know say Dr. Katch don't disappear. I want to ask him something.
Come out and be like say he go come back, he go join back. Just
I pray say make him come back. Because my own I know say all this information where this man they share. Somebody asked him I think 2 weeks ago or so when he was on this program whether he get any group of young individuals where they carry along, they train, they teach them so that we can carry on this fight, because this is not a one-day fight or 1 year. These people where they fight this Islamic, you see that that man will come on yesterday. That guy exposed. I think he actually just confirmed my curiosity about who was doing what. I knew that these so-called intelligent Fulanis, this Gumi, this Sanusi, Erufaya, their own, that them be the people who will fear, not these ones the way they inside bush. You see those intellectuals who go school, where they carry on this mindset of Islamic, ideology. Now them be the biggest problem. Oh. Those are the biggest problem. But what I wanted to ask Dr. Kashi is, all these things where they go on, what be the plan of the Igbos to expand their horizon, their political landscape? Because you cannot say, the Igbos, they hear them, they're crying every time, they're complaining. Of course, those of us that are minority in the South, we have our own understanding and what before the war and how the Igbos even treat us and how we forgive and moving on, we can, go along with them. Waiting be their plan, because the biggest fear of the Nigerian state is the day that the Igbos will open their hands and embrace those so-called minorities in the South that were together with them back when it was Eastern region. So because fight come, they share the thing called geopolitical zones. No. Today as I talk to you, when I go at Abuja, then they call me, the Yorubas call me Omoibo. They don't even know where I'm from.
Nigeria, now Moibo you be now, even myself, now all of us now Moibo now. All of
yeah,
us.
so if that's the case, that's the way they see us. But then the Igbos are not seeing us that way. I'm saying, I wanted to ask him what, because I attended a few meetings of the Igbos in the US, and they were the ones that were planning to see how they can integrate. Get back, there's a whole group of people in Delta, it's called the Delta Igbos.
Yes.
And of course, in River State, we know the Iches and the Queries, and even the Calabaris, the Calabaris, the Popos. Yeah, your Popos. Yes, and even up to today, they're still calling Oyibo Obigo. I don't know why they're still doing that. All this they're all in denial. People don't change them. Let's find a way. I want to ask them, because before Nnamdi Kanu started this project and his whole campaign, they get closer where they were going to be going down and integrate and say, if we can come back and build a bigger platform. Now, what's going to move Nigeria from these Igbo people, they cry. I wanted to ask him.
Make him respond.
I beg, let him tell me if there's any plan that the Igbos will come down from the high horse and come down. Let's find a way, because we're all Christians. In that side, this Muslim thing no go work. So I said, make I ask him. No, I go check here this thing maybe before you wake up.
So no wahala. No say thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Tonally.
Well done.
Well done. Okay, thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, so Dr. Katch, would you like to react to what the Barry said?
Yes, with the gentleman talking, where is he from?
He's from Ogoni in River State. I know
Good.
say you go ask where he from come.
No. Of course, I have to ask. Don't
Yes.
also forget the Ogoni are the only people in River State who were not part of the Arab Confederacy. Okay, they were never part of it, and they came to their present position after the end of the Emancipation Proclamation. Being that as it is, the Ogonis don't have any history of living under the Igbo. No, it was only briefly, and I know a lot of the things that also caused the disaffection were propagandas of the British. And thank God we have seen, no matter the differences we could have, I know who will look at my neck and want to kill me. Because experience now tells me in Nigeria, who is it that could move to want to kill me? Others can play tricks. I don't mind about the Yoruba man's sleaze trick. I can live with that. That's human. That's normal. But the Yorubas don't plan to kill me. They've never done that. And I keep telling people that. The worst person you can have is the person who plans at night how to kill you to take over your land. And so far, we know that's only the Fulani, not the Hausa man, only the Fulani. And that's why everybody now is afraid of them.
Okay, so his question is, what in the Igbo people they do to make sure that they integrate the minority groups from inside the Southwest?
It's not an issue of waiting. Listen to me. The Igbos don't need to do anything special. The Igbos will simply respect what all of us have come to learn from the church as all Christians. You live and you let live. He's right. No matter what you say you are, Nigerians will look at you as Omo Igbo once you were under the Arab Confederacy. And that we know, once in your area, the market days go from Afo Unko Eke Ore. That's how they see you. So no matter how I try to tell them who I am, say, just stop that. All of you are the same. So it is. They knew the reasons why most fear the Igbo is the Igbo's capability to compete and outcompete people. And I tell people the only way for you to defeat that is get even. Learn what they do, get into the markets like Hausas do.
Compete with them.
Get into the markets. Copy them and compete with them. There's no magic in what the Igbo does. The only new thing the Igbo man did is the addition of education, which was brought to them by Bishop Shanahan. By the time they embraced Shanahan's evangelization of education through the Onitsha province, the Igbos by 1937 overtook the Yorubas, who were the original early people to embrace education on a larger scale. And I want to tell you, the Igbo advantage today in Nigeria is built around the Igbo embrace of education, nothing else.
All right, so at the Paris, I hope this answers your question, so that I'll let you go and get to
then on the other side, they have the apprenticeship system. So those are the two key things. One, the apprenticeship system.
And that has worked a lot for the Igbos. Yes.
Yes. The apprenticeship system is a silver bullet for the Igbo. And I try to trace the apprenticeship back to where it started. It started with Chief Odumegwu Ojukwu. Ojukwu took people like Chief Ilodibe, Chidebere under his tutelage, and they worked for him as drivers. They left, he gave them vehicles. So this is it. Then what is the other thing that makes the Igbo tick? Embrace of education. If you come to Nigeria today, Igbos are the largest investors in education. That's why Imo State alone is the state with the highest concentration of subscribers in both WAEC and JAMB. In 2007, Imo had more people subscribing, 127,000 people subscribing to WAEC than the 19 northern states and Abuja to put together. Because no matter what you put, when it gets to Yaba, it will be tabulated in terms of state of origin. So I don't really see any big special thing. Embrace education, one, because without education, and that's the problem in the north, if you don't have access to education, and that's why the Fulanis have undermined the Hausa by not allowing them access to education en masse. The sustained implementation of the Almanjiri system doesn't allow a child to have the necessary tools that you need to compete in a market-driven system premised on competition. And that's so forget about those who talk about, hey, if I have Islamic education, which is Almanjiri, it's not true. Almanjiri bankers will not take your Almanjiri paper for you to be employed in
Thank
bank.
you.
Neither will insurance companies take Almanjiri paper for you. They won't even take it from you if you want to do any very serious something in Nigeria. So follow what the system does. Follow what the system wants. Education, one. Two, the apprenticeship institution. That's nothing magical about it.
Thank you so much, sir. Let me bring someone else into the house. Thank you so much for responding to that. Dinero, my brother. Frank Onero, how far? Frank in the house. Hello, Frank. Frank, can you hear us? You're on. Ew. You're on, Frank. Can you hear us? Are you driving? Frank, are you there or should I speak to someone else? All right. It'd be like say you're never ready to talk to us, Frank. Make I just leave you a good corner. So as I'd like you to react to Dr. Bishop Cooker's visit to Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto State.
Well, Bishop Cooker seeks redemption now because of his embrace of government's job. He spoke against the church and against Christians, and he has returned, which I commend him for. Look, if a man makes a mistake and he comes back and says, look, I am sorry. I am deeply sorry for my mistakes. And that's exactly what he's done. So I think people should forgive him. We're all humans. And most people...
But has he apologized for anything? Did he even do anything that he's apologizing for? He still
He said that there was no killing of Christians. You know, tried to paint it the same way government. You know, there was too much government pressure. But after the Americans visited Bunu State, government, there's no more denial of the killings. So, because the Americans saw that the indigenous owners of the land and villages and compounds are now headed into concentration camps, whereas the government keeps quiet. That the jihadists and their murderous militias are now staying in the homes of the people who are headed into the concentration camps. So the Americans say they've gotten all the facts they want. That's enough. And the government is comfortable with that. That is the biggest sign that the government is complicit, because the fundamental objective of government is to provide security of life and property of its citizens. And if a government sees where life and security of its citizens is being violated and it is comfortable with it, it is complicit in such violations. So it has not done anything to try to return the displaced indigenous people back to their land, and it is still very, very comfortable with the jihadists and the murderers who ethnically cleanse these people of their indigenous land for those people to be keeping that land and living on it. That means the government is comfortable with what happened. The government can then be seen to be complicit.
All right.
Whether they say they don't know, don't forget they are vicariously complicit. Just like I said about the Sultan is vicariously responsible for what happens by officers of his caliphate. Remember what the Sultan said, that whoever fights Boko Haram fights Allah. Those were his words, and that's in the public space. And that in itself sent message to the Muslim Ummah that the Boko Haram and the terrorists were okay, that they were fighting for Allah. This is what Suta said.
All right, Frank Onero, can you hear us now? The network no may talk to also. We may have to pack up and let you go. There's quite a lot.
That was what happened at the beginning. The network was messing us up, but very unexpectedly, it has been very polite. Have allowed us to. Look. This is a tricky game, but so what? We want to continue to emplace our narratives, and this is the beauty about what's going on. We're now having the narratives war. And I can tell you that we defeated them, because the mistake they made was allowing the congressional delegation to visit Benue State. And when the congressional delegation saw with their own eyes a sea of humanity, all of them in a concentration camp, whereas their lands and homes are being currently occupied by jihadists who committed murderous ethnic cleansings, genocidal ethnic cleansings, in order to stay on their land. And the government is okay, not even going to arrest these people and returning the indigenous people back to their land. That means the government is comfortable with what the Americans saw. And for that, there's no more denial of government complicity, because negligence of your duty in itself is criminal.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Katch. Let me let you go. It's just past midnight. I let you go rest. Dr. Katch, you shall be hearing from me. You shall be hearing from me.
I feel grand, no shaking. I say where you be. Don't worry yourself.
I appreciate you big
We will continue to do this job until Nigeria is free.
Definitely. And we pay no leave, no transfer. You say make I follow you in Nigeria. So I plan to follow you in Nigeria. I could just here to the country better.
That's a fine place. It's my land. How can I run away from my fatherland?
Onero don't call me for normal call. It be like say network no let him. Onero, is this you, my brother Frank Onero?
Yes.
What's it happen now? Your village people be know how you talk to me.
I don't move around, to see whether the thing will work.
All right, so go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Well, first and foremost, I want to appreciate Dr. Katch. He has been all the things where the average Nigerian they fear. Dr. Katch, they expose them not with conjectures, not with assumptions. He expose them with facts and figures. Facts and figures. I will address two issues. One, just maybe 2 or 3 minutes, if you allow me.
Please just be quick.
One, the issue of the tax issue, the law where they passed from National Assembly, and the law where the current APC government, gazette, was different. First and foremost, when Nigerians accept those who say they go school, they finish a school, as at the time when they say they go to school, the school has not been established. For granted. So if somebody at a low level begin do all those things, of course, when they get to the high level, for all the school there, and all they worry, they go say that Dagbo. He must be involved in Dagbo because he's Dagbo oriented. Dagbo means in a forge, fake. Dagbo, it not be real. So at that level, if they do it for small level, they do and they go. It cannot come out from that person's system. He must be. You understand?
So you mean say they body?
Put your body. You understand? So Nigerians has to live with it. I've said it maybe a few times on this platform. I have more issues with Nigerians, not only the leaders. If Nigerians say these people, they deal with them, like I said, the people they deal with Nigeria, they are not up to 1% of the population. They are not up to 1%. If you take 1% of, let's say, 200 million, 1% will be around 200,000 people. Yes, 1% will be around 200,000 people. 2 million, not 10%. If they are down to 10, they are down to 2 million. You understand? No, 20 million, I will be 1%, 10% rather. 1% will be 2 million of 200 million. You understand? So if all of them put together are 2 million, what the 109, let's say 190 million, about 90% of them they do. Dr. Katch, they're among the people in the speaker. Some of us are among the people in the speaker. She already among the people in the speaker. What did the others they do? So if we accept it, then we gotta live with it. That's my opinion. For me, like I said, those who vote for the current APC government, I've said this every time. I don't care whatever their circumstance. I don't give a damn. I don't care. They cannot call me. I cannot support them. I cannot help. No matter what, if I know say you support them, hell no, it don't concern me. That is on the tax issue. Then on the trying the killings and genocidal issues and the Fulani issues, I think and wholeheartedly, 100% align with Dr. Katch reasoning, thinking, is exposition. If they think they want land, there are more land in the north than in the south. They should go to Niger State and occupy land there. They should go to Zamfara. Take land in Castina. They should leave the south and the middle belt alone. Like Dr. Katch said, the Fulanis do not have land in Nigeria. They are not originals of this place. You can't say the Fulanis are core Nigerians. When the Benin have been in existence, the Oyo Empire, those in the south, those in the southeast, those in the southwest, and even in the middle belt. So, if they think they want to own land or want to own Nigeria, they should go and own the dot. There's lastly the issue of Sharia. I'll ask a question. Which law is superior? Is the constitution or the religious affiliation of some people in the north? The constitution is superior. There is no room for us as Nigerians to be practicing when the constitution is superior law of the land. I don't understand when people will say, why can't they say they should abolish Sharia? Sharia should be abolished. That was my few deposition. Thank you once again, Madam Precious. And special thanks to Dr. Katch for his exposition. I enjoy listening to him. I'm enlightened, I'm educated, I'm motivated, I'm inspired to ask other people to join in this push. Like somebody said, Dr. Katch could, as a matter of fact, begin to enlighten people, young people, because some of us not small again, young people, so that this history will not end with him or with someone first.
Thank you. Oh, Franco Nero. Okay. All right then. I'll be one asking one question, but it's okay. Dr. Katch, somebody else also did ask here that they haven't seen the government visiting these IDP camps or refugee camps. Why?
Simple. The government and those in government don't want to offend the Fulani.
You don't understand, sir. By visiting people, empathizing with people, you will offend someone.
Well, during the campaigns, only P2B visited the IDP camps. Atiku didn't visit the IDP camp. Tinubu didn't visit the IDP camp because they know what's going on. By visiting the IDP camp, you show sympathy to those who are being oppressed. And when you show sympathy to those, I remember the first time P2B visited the IDP camp, Sheikh Gumi said that Muslims should not vote for those who are going to fight our boys. Who are their boys? They are the kidnappers, the terrorists, the jihadists. And they didn't see they are talking about it still today. So one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. As we normally say, one man's meat is another man's poison. You can hear them now openly saying that these are their freedom fighters, we shouldn't touch them. And that time, Tinubu didn't want to offend the Fulani who were running the Buhari's administration. And that was why when they now ended up by annulling the election, and when we say, why did you do this? They say there was a glitch in the server. And Amazon said, there's no glitch. The server ran well. They said, shut up, there was glitch. No, government switched it off. And they decided to do longhand. They wrote what they want because the beavers system destroyed the myth of the phantom numbers coming from the north. They don't exist. It's a lie. The beavers made sure only authenticated voters were allowed to vote. That's what the beaver system was. So all those fraudulent names that were filed in the electoral register.
Oh, no, another network problem. I'm so sorry, Dr. Katch. All right, Henry, you're already here with us. You want to say something very quickly, please?
Very
Okay, sir.
excited.
Okay, sir.
Yes. I don't know if you can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, and
Hello?
the network. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Very quickly.
Go ahead. The network is back.
Okay. Sorry, Sister Precious, thank you so much. My name is Henry from Ireland. Listen, Dr. Katch, first of all, Sister P, I want to thank you so much for what you do. I watch you almost on a daily basis. I watch even the one you had yesterday with the man from Kogi State. Just to encourage you. And then, Dr. Katch, you have to be careful. These people are holding Nnamdi Kanu because of the information he's letting out. It's not because of any because of the fact that he poses a danger to them. It's because he's letting out the information, letting Nigerians know what they're up to. I have a friend from Kaduna State, Southern Kaduna. She's a nurse. She lives there in Ireland. She's actually from the same village as General Zaman in Lekwot. She told me that if not for Nnamdi Kanu, a lot of them in the Middle Belt wouldn't have known what was going on. If he did not reveal it earlier, years before it happened, prior to Buhari coming into power, they wouldn't have had a clue what was going on. But because of the things he said, which they saw him as a madman when he was saying that this is impossible, how can that be? So when these things started unfolding, people could add 1 and 1 to make 11, not just 2. So, Dr. Katch, you're more important to Nigerians right now, I want you to know that, than even the established media. Your Arise will give Gumi 3 or 4 interviews before they even grant you one. We know that. We can see it. We know what's going on. People like you, the government is scared of you because you have information that indict them in every aspect. You enlighten people, and I can tell you, information is power. You are empowering Nigerians. You are more powerful than Arise and a lot of all this media. The information you're letting out there, the minds you're building.
Okay, so I think network don't do the same thing to
network is our competitor today.
I'm telling you. Let me let you wrap up so that we can move on, sir. Henry cannot. I think he's been kicked out. So go ahead, sir. Respond to him, and then let's conclude.
I think for every generation, faith creates their own champions. I have heard these words of be careful, they do. I said, no, they won't do anything. I think I was prepared for this. I've been on this for 12 years. When I saw the dangers of the Fulani crisis was during the crisis 12 years ago in Central African Republic. And I went on television and created a documentary called The Fulani Monologue. And some people said I should serialize it, I should not stop. Then the fight went from Central African Republic down to Mali. And then there was a presidential commission created, and I served on that commission. And that was why when Buhari came to power, I had a chance to hold audience with him, and I advised him. I told him that nobody in his government will give him land. He said, what? I said, land, Africans are emotional land, and nobody will give you land. But he kept trying. he failed. He couldn't get land, and that was why he now used the violent option, which is allowing the Fulani militias of Gandakoi, Tabital Pulaku, and Miet Allah Kautohore, led by Bello Abdullahi Bodejo. And we have, after 12 years, we're here now. And someone told me, why are you doing this? You could put yourself to, I said, don't worry. The more in the propagation, if nobody intelligently reports what I state, with time, it shall become the acceptable wisdom. And today, I'm happy we are about there. And we have now achieved what I call a historic intervention by United States. The more they listen, the more they understand. Just like the congressman revealed, when they first heard it, their mind was blown. But when he came to Benue and saw what he saw, he was devastated by the catastrophe that he saw. We have to tell our stories. Being afraid of saying it, no. I believe the woman, the man, everybody's created with a mouth. And the reason for your voice is, instead of the husband to kill you at night in the village, you keep screaming. As you keep shouting, some people in the village will hear you and they will come in to say, my friend, you want to kill him? Do you want to kill this woman? Is that not our wife? And then she'll be saved. So if we don't raise our voices, things will go wrong. Of course, you could see how the society have become numbed, so numbed that they think it's not. But I didn't stop.
Thank you.
Everything the gentleman said, I have suffered, I have seen them. I have been bad, I have been targeted. But social media then came and I told the people, I said, this is even a bigger bomb and I'm going to use against you. So we've sustained and we're happy for where we are. I consider Trump the best Christmas gift we have had in a generation.
Irrespective of his
Because
ulterior intention.
there are no thing like ulterior intention. The highest is, you look at the history. The United States foreign policy has historically been tied to their energy policies. So fine, we have gas. We don't mind with them. We have sea fronts that they consider strategic. Of course, they can take somewhere here as what's it called? Naval base. Everybody wants it. The only people who don't want them to come is the Fulanese, who are not indigenous here. They don't have land. So the Fulanese see themselves as the future conqueror of the entire Nigeria. This is the game. And because Nigerians are docile, as you can see, and as the gentleman before the last said, everybody of each other. And so they spread news, and then some of us become afraid of each other, where we can work with each other. Okay, the voter suppression, I don't think is a Yoruba mindset. No, Yorubas are liberal. Yes, they fear the Igbo, I understand, but it was the Fulani that induced it. The same way the Fulanis also induced the abandoned property that divided the East, getting the Izon to come to Port Harcourt and seize properties of Igbos. They didn't do it in Kanu. They didn't do it in Lagos. They didn't do it in Meduguri. Why did they do it in the East, in Port Harcourt? What happened? Igbo still came back and bought up those properties. But it left a mark. It divided the East. Same thing they now repeated in Lagos, getting the Yorubas to physically go against the Igbo, do voter suppression, pull down Igbo properties. That creates bad blood and then brings a historical divide amongst people of the South. This is all they want to. So I understand it's not a Yoruba game, it is a arrangement. In Rivers State after the Civil War, same way under the Buhari administration, they have done. But then Tinubu, you can see Tinubu, it doesn't plan, can see how the country is, jaga jaga as they will say. So you really cannot blame Tinubu. I don't think he knows what he's doing. So let's just pray that this also will pass. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever.
Thank you. Henry, Mr. Henry, can you drop your thoughts now? Quickly, please.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is that I think I thought I didn't know I lost you guys earlier on.
Yes.
I want to thank you especially for what you're doing. You might not understand the importance of the job you're doing and how far the extent is reaching, and the people who are listening to you. And then not just that, Dr. Katch as well. I want to say thank you so much. You are an enigma of our time. Dr. Katch, you might not understand that you're more important right now. You are needed.
No. This has to be a village people. There's no other
You
way.
say the village people know. I tell you, say,
This
they
has to
know.
be a village people, Mr. Henry. No other way to explain it. Let's call it a day. Let's call it quits. Thank you so much, Dr. Katch. Let me let you retire. Thank you to everyone who's been part of the show. It's always a pleasure to have you guys join us. Thank you so much, Dr. Katch. God bless you. Stay safe. Let's continue to speak for the growth and development of our nation. Thank you so immensely for always obliging us, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm grateful to be with your audience.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do have a pleasant night rest, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right, Nigerians, that's the size of our package today again. Let's continue to speak for the growth of this nation. I love you guys. I see you again tomorrow, God willing, with Prince Francis Chilaka, and we'll continue to speak just like that. But in all of this, remember, say, he who worries about Nigeria problem and runs away, live to worry another day. So no let Nigeria problem sink your head there. As they worry, just the sieve and small made it come out so that your brain go to refresh. So in case you're not following us across social media, please do so. And if you have not liked this post, what do you gain now? Or you like it, go and like it. Like it, share it, make sure it gets to as many people as possible. Like it, you're not paying money for it, just like it's free of charge. So kindly like, share, and make sure you reach as many people as possible. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Protect your mental health. I love you. Good night and God bless you. Bye.